Hey guys, just a quick test. Dave, Solus, you can hear me?
Yes. Hey everyone, how are you?
Hey, perfect. I can hear you too. Designer, Dave.
Maybe it still needs to accept the invitation to speak, I think.
Yeah, I sent the invite. Okay, waiting another minute. Oh, here he is. Here's the boss. Dave, all good on your end? Sound check from Dave. Hey, yeah, great.
That's a problem.
There you
Okay,
go, we can hear you.
now
Aye.
Sergio testing for speaker. Nice. Okay, I think we're all good. See you all guys in 10 minutes.
All right.
See ya.
See ya.
Cheers.
1 1 2 2 sound check.
Hello, we can hear you. A couple of minutes left. We're still waiting for a few more people to join, and then we'll start soon.
Perfecto, thank you.
Hello, everyone. It's great to see you all here. We're just waiting for a couple more minutes for more people to join who are still going to this, and then we will start.
Testing 1, 2, 3. Okay, it looks like it's working now. All right, let's get this started, shall we? Welcome everybody. This is the GameFi Changers Building the Hype show. We are doing this Twitter space for a variety of reasons, but number one, we want to talk about what has come before. In the previous bull market, we saw a massive influx of Web3 gaming studios claiming to be able to do amazing things like creating MMORPGs within only 9 months of development, and a single developer who had never created games before in their life. As the bear market started, the vast majority of these Web3 gaming studios vanished into the ether. Only a few strong survivors stuck around to continue building through the bear market. Now, as we enter a new bull market, I think it's fair for people to be more careful about how and when they invest in Web3 gaming. Today, we'll be covering a series of questions for how people can find the real gems in GameFi, the key factors to consider when evaluating projects, and their potential to deliver on their promises. Welcome everyone to this roundtable lightning discussion on building the next generation of GameFi. I am Designer Dave, 25-year game industry veteran of Warcraft, Wasteland, and now Engines of Fury fame, and I'll be acting as the host with the most questions. We have 10 people representing the strongest entities in GameFi, representatives of the best and brightest for the future of the industry. Please give everyone a short introduction for yourself and let them know what you care about. Let's start with founder and CMO of W3 Forge, the creators of ZK Race, formerly known as D-Race, and co-founder of Engines of Fury, the marketing genius known as Adele. Say hello to everyone, Adele.
Hello everyone. Introduction was already made, so no point of introducing myself. So hello, hi, I'm glad to be here. I'm glad to talk to you all.
Thank you very much, Adele. Feel free to correct me if I didn't give you enough of an intro, or if you want to add anything onto it. Next up, hailing from the East, well-renowned gaming creator of the year, founder of Gaming Gridex, and a brand ambassador for Mochaverse and Avalanche, please welcome my Asian brother from another mother, Yellow Panther. Get Yellow Panther as mic. Hello. Oh no.
Yo. X is a bit rugging right now, but happy to be here. Thank you so much for having me. Yo, I've been playing EOF since the early build, the MVP build, so I'm super excited to have every one of you legends here with me on stage tonight. So, wait, it's nighttime, but you guys probably are early morning or evening, but yeah, happy to be here.
Awesome. Thank you very much. Next up, a secretive, self-made digital entrepreneur and blockchain hype master, the mysterious Mr. Blank. Tell us about yourself, Mr. Blank.
Hey, can you guys hear me?
Yes, we can.
Awesome. Yeah, X is rugging me too. Thank you for having me here. It's a pleasure. Super excited for what you guys are building. I think a lot of people here know me, so I'll keep the intro kind of short. So I run Citizen Capital, which is the Neo Tokyo Launchpad. We also run a couple of other LPs in this space, and we're super into gaming. So, we're all about what you guys are building. Thank you.
Awesome. Good to hear. Neo Tokyo. I knew that. From financial consultant to biz dev gaming lead at Polygon, please welcome Sergio Verona Bastillo.
Hello guys, thank you for having me here. It's a pleasure. I'm taking part of the gaming strategy of in Polygon in the regions of EMEA and LATAM, so it's a pleasure to be here with familiar faces.
Awesome. Thank you very much. Next up, she's closing deals, making sales, and forming strategic partnerships. This badass is not in it for the selfies. The CEO of ChainGPT Pat herself, Gintere Carriente. How are you? And how badly did I pronounce your name? A little bit more rugging from the Twitter Spaces again.
All right, guys. It seems like David is being rugged right now by Twitter. Let's hope the technical difficulties will be solved soon.
Oh, am I being rugged? Oh, jeez. Can you hear me?
Yeah, we can hear well.
Okay.
All good.
Okay. Millions follow this super gamer from South America, master of guilds, builder of bridges, the super personality known as Keimanu. Please introduce yourself, Keimanu. Twitter Spaces never fails to disappoint me. All right, I'm gonna move on. Tell you what, I'm gonna go.
There, you
Oh,
get
wait.
me?
Yes, go ahead, please.
Sorry, I was muted. Hi, thanks for inviting. Nice to join. As you mentioned, from Latin America, so it's a pleasure being here and representing my region.
Awesome. So glad to have you here representing the region. Did I introduce Ginter? I think I might have been rugged during that portion. Okay. She's closing deals, making sales, and forming strategic partnerships. This badass is not in it for the selfies. The CEO of ChainGPT Pad herself, Jindhara Kariate. How badly did I pronounce your name? Please let me know.
I
The
guess
the
you
pain
spot
in...
on. That was spot on.
Okay, thank you.
Best intro so far.
All right, I'll take it. Notorious builder and head of business development for Star Heroes. He won't be distracted by profile links. Please welcome Vito Dorito. You there, Vito Dorito? Let me know.
Quick shout out to YP, fucking legend.
All right. Hailing from Dubai, the master of communications, relations, and blockchain, please welcome the head of comms for Sidus Heroes, Anthony Checo.
Good day there, guys. Pleasure meeting you. Yeah, my pleasure to be in here. Thanks a lot to the Engines and Fury. Huge shout out. And I hope that this AMA session will actually ignite your passion for the adrenaline pumping action. Let's get it going.
Hell yeah, it will. Next up, a seasoned marketing pro with over 19 years of tech industry experience, working with over 100 startups and co-founder of 3, the CMO of ChainGPT, the #1 ranked Web3 AI infrastructure for crypto trading, NFT creation, smart contract development, and so much more. Please welcome Sharon Skiamas.
Feel superstar. Can you hear me?
Absolutely.
Yeah, we do.
I need to send this intro to my mom after this call. This Twitter space, amazing. Yeah, happy to be here. Thanks, David. Amazing. Yeah, nothing to add. Best intro. Yeah. Thanks for the invite.
Thank you so much. I appreciate that. Last but not least, a master entrepreneur, co-founder of 5 companies, and the chief executive officer of Engines of Fury himself. You better call Saul. How's it going, Saulius?
It's going well. And thanks, David, for hosting this. Really happy to be here and, seeing this lineup. It's an all-star lineup. So I think we're going to have a really great discussion today. So really excited to be here, and thanks all for coming. Let's start it.
Yes, thank you all for coming, and now we get to the question and answer round. Since we have quite a few people here, points are awarded for succinct and powerful answers. The points won't matter, but the pressure to win still works. Question number 1. What's your take on the GameFi industry's role in the next bull cycle? Yellow Panther, what do you have to say?
Yeah, thank you so much for the question. I need to get this point for my name. So I think a lot more games will be launching officially. No more, MVP, no more closed beta or so on. I think a lot of these games will be officially launched, like games that I've been building for many years, including Engines of Fury. I think not only that, but the East is showing a lot more purchasing power in the recent months and years. So I think the East will also be playing a big part in the coming bull cycle. I've been saying this for like the past 2 years. The East will hard carry the bull run, but it may or may not be true. So let's see. But I'm very bullish in Asia in terms of player base, in terms of adoption rate, and so on.
Yeah, absolutely. I think China will be a big player in this one. But I think Keimanu may have another take on it. Keimanu, what do you have to say?
Well, all the blockchain and crypto space is quite hard for newcomers, so they need to join through something they do, they know, and they feel safe. And that's games. I mean, games is like the biggest window of adoption we can open because it's easy to understand and it's pretty like endemic. Crypto is really endemic to the crypto space. All the gamers always are doing economy. It's just like inflationary in-game economy from traditional games. This time we are bringing that economy into the real life, but in the end they do it. So it's something more natural. In my opinion, gaming is going to be one of the big topics for this cycle, even stronger than last cycle, because that's how the adoption is going to be get. So all newcomers into the space are going to do it maybe through crypto and other one, and maybe through gaming and other ones, but gaming is going to be there, one of the big ones.
Yeah, I think gaming is going to lead the sector. Mr. Blank, do you agree? How is GameFi going to work in the next bull cycle?
Definitely agree with you guys. I think we saw after NFT mania, the last bull cycle kind of ended with a lot of GameFi hype. So strongly believe that's where we're picking up. GameFi is one of the strongest verticals out there at the moment, and I actually think it will stay that way. But it does depend, obviously, on the market's dynamic. But as we're seeing, broader kind of public acceptance and more integration of these games, I think life is becoming a lot easier for a lot of projects like yourself to actually develop and offer these opportunities, but also the general public to accept and become this player base. So looking forward to it, and hope I took Yellow Panther's point.
Sure you did. Sergio, how do you feel about the next market?
Well, I feel that we must take into account the comparison that saying that the games that we are seeing right now in to be deployed during this year, they have much more quality than if we compare them with 2021 games. And this is because the investment that came into the space, in the Web3 gaming space during those years, is now seeing the latest versions and see the latest releases during 2024, 2025. So I think that all these backgrounds also of people that moved from traditional studios and funded their own startups, this is leading to more quality of games, and I think that is going to be like the key of the next bull market. And also on the other side, I would also like to speak about infra solutions. The infra space is better prepared right now in comparison to 2021 and 2020 because the blockchain ecosystem has evolved. We have now better onboarding solutions like the wallet providers, marketplaces have designed this kind of experiences. So I think that together, all together makes that this bull run will have like better quality of games and better infra for mass adoption.
Yeah, absolutely. I think high quality games are going to be the most important thing coming up in the next market. Gintera, how do you feel about the GameFi industry's role in the next bull cycle?
Hey guys, I am so sorry. There was some kind of a bug and I couldn't speak.
Yeah, lots of
So
those.
first of all, hi everyone. Happy to be here and finally had a chance to speak. So yes, for the upcoming bull, I see a lot of potential for Web3 gaming. The only thing is that currently, that gaming projects needs to, have in mind is how to differentiate themselves, to really attract, real players. I think once they will be able to do that, rather than just users focus too much on the token, I think we will see how the market is switching positively for the Web3 games.
Yeah, absolutely. Solis, what's your take on the situation?
I mean, first of all, it's weird to me that everyone is talking about the next bull cycle. Correct me if I'm wrong, but I guess we are already in it. We broke all-time highs. We're not far from that today, and this year will get even better and
Very
better. So
true.
I think first of all, yeah, I think we are already in it. We're at the beginning of it, and as for gaming, well, I mean, I do really believe that the gaming will have the leading role in it. Of course, maybe now like we've been seeing some other sectors experiencing some stronger trends, like I don't know, like RWAs with all of the news pouring from BlackRock, from Ondo, from Superstay, and many others. There's the AI, there's the PRC and things like that. But at the end of the day, I think the the only industry that can actually break through to the masses and prove benefits of large scale blockchain adoption and also do it rapidly. I think that's Web3 games. And now what we need is only a quality product with truly great market fit, and we're there. The target group is usually tech savvy already within gamers, and apart from that, like I think Sergio was mentioning here, we have various solutions to ease onboarding, to hide fees, to make transactions near instant, and a lot of other things that were major friction points for those standard users and for the masses to enjoy Web3 games earlier. So and this game, I think everybody sees now that there is a lot of really high quality games coming out, and there will be even more. We already seen some really successful alphas or betas with real interest from real players, and so I'm really happy about that, and rooting for the industry and for others to succeed. And we're also launching soon. We're launching our alpha this summer at a major event. It's easy to guess which one, but I'm gonna leave it at that. And we already have more than 80K applications. When we're actually going to launch it, I think that we'll have a lot more. So I think everything is here, and we just need those great products to come out, and there's evident huge interest in GameFi. So I think that it will explode again this year.
Yeah, absolutely. I think it's very important, the point about the quality and also making it easier for players to get in. Adele, what's your take on the situation?
Well, I truly believe and hope that we will see more quality. I think, to be honest, that we will see even more projects than
Spaces
we have
are not
seen
kind today to people.
in. You can't hear me?
I can hear you, Adele. Please keep going.
Okay. Oh, okay. Sorry. So I really believe we'll see more projects than in 2021, but I believe and I want to believe that we'll have more quality projects. I think the standards changed a lot for gamified projects, both from product, from tokenomics perspective, etc., etc. And yeah, I'm really excited to see how the next bull will unroll, and I think it will be a really huge step for the whole crypto market in general, as I see GameFi as probably the only, maybe not the only, but one of the major utilities for altcoins and for NFTs as well. And glad to be here from the very beginning to see it grow. As you probably know, we were one of the first GameFi projects to launch in general, and probably from 2021 that 3 or 5 or 3% that actually launched the game. So I'm really glad to represent that part of 2021 that is still here, just like few other speakers in the spaces, which I'm really happy to see.
Yeah, absolutely. This is a all-star survivor crew. Anthony, Site of Star Heroes, tell us what you believe the GameFi industry's role is in the next bull cycle.
Well, I actually agree with Sol in the first place. The current bull cycle has never ended, so I went and checked the PDC rate before we
Fair,
started talking
fair.
about the next one. But definitely, more and more big players are actually coming along. Quite a lot of the AAA developers actually come in, so the popularity of Web3 is definitely growing. For example, Engines of Fury, huge progress the guys made over 2 years of development, huge background, starting with Diablo 2, World of Warcraft, Rainbow Six Siege, and many other, I'd say, outstanding projects they've made. So great job on that side. But I'd say a few factors that are stopping the Web3 from actually developing are the first one is actually hard transition from the Web 2 into the Web 3 space. So we're talking about the mass adoption. A lot of projects are actually, I'd say, breaking their head thinking over how to migrate the users from Web 2 into the Web 3. And the second, I'd say, the most important point that people usually, I mean, based on my, I'd say, gaming development experience, is that people started to forget that no matter how well your economics within the Web 3, it doesn't matter, I'd say, how much you can actually earn from the game. All it's needed is really an interesting game that is addictive, and there is no matter of how well the other, I'd say, aspects work, since unless your game is really addictive and really fun to play, there is no point of actually launching it, because the games are, I'd say, all about fun, and you all know that. So that's my point.
Yeah, absolutely. If the game isn't fun, what's the point of making a game in the first place?
Exactly. I mean, that's as simple as that, though.
I totally agree. All right, 1,000 points to everybody. Question number 2. From your perspective, what are the main challenges for Web3 gaming at the moment? I have a few people I'll select, and then if you want to add on, feel free to raise your hand, and I'll try to get to you. Um, I'm going to go to, wait, Vito Dorito, are you here?
Hey guys, I'm here. I was rocked a little bit by Twitter because it's pretty shitty lately, but now I'm here.
Yeah, no worries. I got rugged
It's
several
great
times.
again.
Yeah, okay, go. So what are the main challenges for Web3 gaming at the moment?
So right now, the main challenges is basically that most games are kind of repetitive. So the gameplay is mostly not fun because games are just rushing because they feel stressed because of the bull cycle. So they just try to get a gameplay trail out as quick as possible, then some tokens, some Genesis NFTs, and then just rush the gameplay as quick as possible so they get out the public access. And then most of the time, the gameplay just doesn't deliver because they spent most of their marketing budget for the gameplay trailer or for the visuals. And so people just simply hardcore grind the airdrop campaign. Maybe the game is like crashing every second game. And so the people grind the airdrop, and as soon as the airdrop comes, everybody dumps the hell out of it and it all goes to zero. Yeah.
Yep, those are expensive cinematics. I've seen a few of them, and then I played the game and was unfortunately disappointed. I won't name any names though. Saul, tell us your perspective. What are the main challenges for Web3 gaming right now?
Yeah, I mean, I could maybe add on what Sidus has said, or Star Heroes here. At the end of the day, I think the key challenges are user acquisition and overall maybe like product market fit, because games really need to know how to communicate and how to connect with, and as well as how to read the data and the feedback from all of those demo, closed tests, alphas, and etc. from two very different target groups with very different expectations, right? Because like we still have the standard, Web 2 gamers that we all here, want to onboard, and that's going to be the masses that we are all here speaking about. But there's also like the crypto natives and the OGs, blockchain gaming enthusiasts, right? So games have to be really smart about the communication and really tailoring the message to address both of these groups, to also thinking about the acquisition channels to use. Where do those gamers will come from? Where will they find out about you? What do they look for when considering whether it's worth a try, and many things like that. And of course, lastly is like the big elephant in the room. I think it's the actual in-game economy itself. Tokenizing and opening a game's economy is a wild task. Really not sure if I could like really say that anyone has nailed it yet. Like there are a lot of interesting experiments going. We're doing the same. So it's going to be really interesting to see where will be that actual solution to this challenge. But again, you know, I think some games are doing it a little bit better than others. And what I'm sure of is that this year we will see at least a good handful of big winners, and the ones that will lead the way, you know, show an example of how things are done, like how you can connect all of these things together and finally bring, like, you know, a really quality product and prove that, you know, that it's not only us, like a niche, you know, of, you know, blockchain and open market enthusiasts, but it's something that is really useful and beneficial and brings value to the masses also. So that's what I'm excited about.
Yeah, absolutely. And don't worry, I nailed the monetization 100% perfect. We're fine.
I like that. I like that attitude.
Yeah. Sergio, tell us what you think the main challenges are for Web3 gaming at the moment.
Sure. I strongly think that, and it was mentioned before, user acquisition is one of the biggest challenges because I think that it requires like a holistic approach. Let's say you require to combine community engagement, incentives, strategic partnerships for distribution, for community with guilds, tournament platforms, quest platforms, etc. Also to plan the campaigns for airdrops, etc. And I think that all this together makes a huge challenge in Web3. But also, we shouldn't forget about onboarding. It's still a big challenge. I think that we have, as I said before, we have seen a lot of advancements over there, but still we have work to do. Not only from the blockchain infra providers, and obviously not only from the game developer perspective, but also from the wallet providers. Basically, here we have seen, for example, some standards like the account abstraction that has been like very good for the space. But let's see what will happen in the upcoming months. And finally, I will talk also about funding. That is always a pain for developers. So I will say that the amount of money that came into the space in 2021 and 2022 was decreased a lot in 2023. And according to some conversations that we had with VCs this year, probably we'll see again the money flowing. But obviously, you know, good games take time, and those that received money in the past, they are now releasing versions, as I said before. So I would say that, yeah, in a nutshell, these three challenges: user acquisition, onboarding, and funding.
Yeah, well, we got to make sure that money flows into the right hands. Anthony, Citus Heroes, tell us your perspective. What are the main challenges for Web3 gaming at the moment?
Yeah, well, I've outlined two of them, which is a really hard transition of users from Web 2 into the Web 3 and keeping the game attractive. But I'm not trying to be a smartass. But from the game development perspective, the first, I'd say, problem is keeping your eye out. Well, the most mistakes that the game developers make is keeping your eye out on metrics and community, because you do need to measure your results, whether you make one or the other update, check out how well your cohorts go, what's your DAU, MAU metrics. And of course, the most important one is the retention rate, because some of the game developers usually do not actually look after the retention rate. They're just making new updates, making more monetization processes. And obviously, they do disappoint the users, which means that they just quit the game. Then the second one is obviously the marketing. Do your marketing well, since a lot of budgets are actually spent into nowhere, I'd say, and they're pretty huge. If you bring up the stats for the previous year, over $1 billion spent into nowhere, which brought zero results. And of course, in terms of the free to play, I'd say just finding payable audience, which means actually carefully monetizing them, since it is a new sphere for the Web2 users, and you need to carefully select the products that you actually sell. So that's my point of view.
Yeah, absolutely. We're moving on to question number 3. I'm giving 1,000 points to Gryffindor. The bear market was a huge challenge for the reputation of the industry. What project disappointed you the most when it shut down? And do you think immature projects can still sneak their way into the industry? Gintera, what do you think?
Yes, so I think that I mean, from my point of view, I think the most disappointed have been the Luna, 3 Hours Capital, multi-chain, and FTX collapse. When Luna collapsed, experienced the downfall, the 3 Hours Capital also had substantial losses because they placed some investment in various struggling ventures at the time. So, for example, Play to Earn game Axie Infinity, which suffered, around 600 million because of the hack that they had. And also, FTX collapse that caused, a lot of retail investors are losing their funds. And, most of them, because of that, really lost, some faith in crypto industry itself. And yes, I think there are, still immature projects that can, sneak their way into the industry. And I think it's still happening all the time. And, 4 reasons for that, I think, is the regulations. We have lack of them. And also based that, like the hype that is, around speculation. Also, that they're not going through proper DD process. FOMO, so to say, and in general, like investor lack of experience of investors and understanding of the crypto market itself. So, sorry for the noise, but I believe that for investors who don't have much experience, in investing and understanding the crypto, it's really important, to do like a proper research. Use advisors, or from a launchpad perspective, use launchpads who does that due diligence, for them. Of course, you never know what can happen, but at least launchpads have some strong agreements in place that tries to protect those investors.
Yeah, absolutely. Protecting the investors with strong launchpads is a great idea, and I hope we do that. We are doing that, and that's why we're here. Adele, let me know, what was your biggest project disappointment when it shut down, and do you think immature projects are still around?
Personally, mine was multi-chain because we were using it and it was really good project with the good fundamentals, and it was really sad to see it, happen what happened. And I think that it is absolutely unavoidable. One of the problems is that retail very often it chases over promises with very fabulous and majestic trailers, and does not realize that these type of games, it actually takes years to build. It's not going to happen in 6 months with a 12 people team. Therefore, I think one of the reasons why it's happening is the lack of education and the lack of knowledge about games and game development in general. Therefore, a lot of projects that are not even planning to execute their initial ideas or promises. There's a way for them to sneak in always, constantly. Therefore, I think that it's unavoidable at this type of space, and I would like to agree with Gintare that regulations could help that, but hopefully. But the thing is, retail has to be extremely careful and research projects way more than they do, especially that the part if it's actually doable within the team and within the budget. That's
Yeah,
my take
yeah,
on the. Yeah.
absolutely. I get it. We do need to do some education, I think, for people as well, and make sure that they know what a obvious fraud looks like and what a real team of developers actually looks like. And I think that's starting to disseminate through the ranks, and hopefully that'll be
Absolutely.
yeah. I think. Go ahead.
Yeah, absolutely. And to build a game, you have to have a lot of know-how, especially to build a big, complex game. And
Yeah.
a random person that doesn't have experience is probably not going to pull that off. Therefore, it's not only the size of the team, etc. It's, do they actually know how to do that? Because it's a very complex. We all did that. Most of us did that here. So it's a very complex and a very complicated process. Therefore, the question, I think the industry generally doesn't have that much of a know-how and doesn't have that much of a people who know how to actually do that.
Yeah, it's gradually shifting, and I'm trying to help shift that along as well. Sharon, tell us what you think. What was your biggest project disappointment when it shut down, and do you think that immature projects are still around?
Can you hear me?
Yes, I can.
Yes. Yeah, great. Yeah, because I was in and out constantly, thanks Twitter. I think I'm gonna give it another take. I've seen a lot of projects that didn't manage to survive, and that's a survival bias. I don't know one in particular, but kind of dozens and maybe hundreds that I met through the last year, and the reason is what already was mentioned. Maybe focusing too much on crypto and not fun, not going to the fundamentals of building game, a good one. It's about not only acquisition, retention. It's about channels. Where do you meet your fan, your member, your community? And it takes years. And I think the crypto industry in general is very kind of quick wins, big loss, and everything is moving so fast. But for games, it's not necessarily the case. And I see it as the biggest problem. And even bigger than that, not knowing how many people, developers, teams try to build a game because it looks like, oh, this is going to be a big win, crypto, and the incentives and tokens, while not understanding the first principle thinking of building a game. What does it mean? So it's not one in particular. It's a lot, hundreds probably. They didn't manage to even get a couple of dozens of users, and they spend months and months. Like you cannot build an MVP with a game. You need something really working and fun, and a narrative, a good narrative. I think this is so. Probably there are less right now, I will say, but there is still a lot of lack of knowledge of how do you build a successful game. What does it mean? An experience. So that's my take on this question.
Yeah, absolutely. It is a literal graveyard out there from the last
Yeah,
cycle.
yeah, you're right. You're right.
Yellow Panther, tell us what you think. What was your biggest project failure, disappointment, and do you think immature projects are still around?
Yeah, I'm not gonna name any projects, but yeah, I think it will be extremely hard to, recoup your name if you because like just like any industry, you only have one chance to prove to your audience, to your community, right? Especially in Web3, it's especially harsh. And I truly respect, founders like Solios and others who built in Web3 because it is 10 times harder comparing to building a game on web 2, not because of the game itself but the web 3 element, how new and how daunting the industry is. Just giving props to them. But yeah, I think, yeah, you only have one chance. And but the thing is, back in 2021, there's a lot of teams that are not docs, right? So they are able to easily get away from it. So starting since then, we have grown a lot more. And someone was saying, getting more knowledgeable in the space helps. So as pioneers in the space, as OGs, look out for one another, and also helping the new members or new builders coming into space, help the true builders build a easier path. That's my opinion.
Yeah, absolutely. It's very important for the new people coming in to well, they have to work through all that Web3 stuff. And then they have to do all this education as well. It's a struggle. It really is. I hear Mr. Blank has an interesting take.
Yeah, I'm not gonna name and shame any projects here. I was definitely disappointed by quite a lot of them. But I think one of the issues I've noticed is um, a lot of these different games have tried to launch and ride the hype, premature, so they're not really ready, or the space just wasn't there yet. So I think as we see like gaming and GameFi is kind of continuously maturing, there's definitely better opportunities for a lot of those projects that are just quietly building behind the scenes. So a lot of respect to the founders who haven't really tried to get out there and blow up the game when they know they're not ready. I think that's kind of my take on it.
Yeah, absolutely. It's important to remember that if that game isn't ready, you got to be careful with how much hype you apply to the situation. K Manu, what do you think?
It's not about the protocol or project. It's more like last cycle. I realized that everybody in the industry is looking how to get value out of the projects and not real interaction to the projects. I'm gonna speak about gaming, which is the thing I know the most. And this might also answer the one about the challenge for games, because the issue there is to realize that games do need actual gamers. And what you get by grinding in the crypto space, you get farmers, you get people that want to take value out of your game, but not real gamers that will interact with the game. So, as any other product in the world, you need consumers, people willing to spend money in what you have done. That's the way to make money. And the thing, look at the campaigns right now. Everything is about airdrops. Everything is about giving money to the people for the people to interact. You are paying them to be your marketing, but you are not paying to get a real user. So in the end, you will give the airdrop, they will sell it, they will dump it, and that's it. It's done. They will not play at all. And that's something I realized in the last cycle. And during this cycle right now, I think it's happening again, and even in a stronger way. Because right now they are not even like, they're just moving for airdrops. So the big challenge, the big disappointment was that it was to realize that people here is not about just getting a better product with a better technology. Everything is about money, which is okay, but it's the reality. And then the other one, the big challenge is to get real gamers. That's why I think that games should be investing more in getting people from Web2, people that are not really into the economy of Web3, than people that is already here. Right now, retail has not come. I think they say we are in a bull market right now. I'm not sure. Bitcoin is in a bull market. All the rest of the space, we are like there. I am not sure we are actually like pumping. So the retail has not come. And all this new retail, it's important to get it because it's people that have not been there farming and getting money out of the projects. They might actually get interested in the game. So because if not, it's gonna be hard. You can even have League of Legends here or World of Warcraft, and they will just go there for the money. So that's the challenge. How you make a real gamer in this industry?
Absolutely. We do need to be careful about who we're attracting to our projects, and we need to be looking for the real gamers. So, Adele, you had something to say?
Yes, I would like to agree on that very much. And I think in general, the problem with gamify is that there is not much of actual gamers there. We still haven't figured out, like as an industry in general, how to onboard actual players that play games like CS:GO or World of Warcraft. We haven't figured out that yet. I think a lot of when you interact with a lot of projects, they like to make up a really nice numbers, but you know that it's not there because crypto's retail is still really small. Therefore it makes sense like that. Okay, maybe this project says it has 6 million user but it doesn't. But I think in general that gamify is still really really small. So that's one of the things I wanted to add on.
Yeah, absolutely. We do need to bring in the real gamers, and right now they're afraid of crypto. So I think we have education opportunity that we need to pursue as well. But Anthony, you said you had something to say?
Absolutely. Well, I definitely agree with this point. And as I previously said, in order to actually get the real players, not just, the flippers or the people that are hunting the airdrops, obviously all you need to do is just to make an interesting game. Because the terminology, to be specific, that you are talking about is actually called the death loop, right? Whenever the project is actually, I'd say, attracting the new users into the project by giving them out, the assets or the tokens from the tokenomic model, and et cetera, et cetera. And whenever the users have actually had enough of playing, on the example of I'll say Axie Infinity, right? The people were just pretty much spamming the game and they were playing it, but the game was not as interesting because the main interest was actually conducted within the earning possibility. And whenever the demand has actually fall down to the supply, the death loop has actually happened because the players were not playing the game since it was interesting. They were just playing to earn, and I'd say the huge holders decided to go and actually flip, their holdings. That's how the tokenomics or the whole economy actually crashed. And in order to avoid any of those death loops, which they are called, it's as simple as just to make an interesting game that people will play not for money, but they will pay you the money to play the game. And that's, I'd say, the case to make the successful project.
Definitely a very good point. That's it for question number 3. 1,000 points to everybody. Question number 4. What are the key indicators that Web3 gamers should look for to indicate a project has a legitimate chance of mass adoption? Ginteri, I heard you have something to say on this topic.
Yeah, sure. I think the main thing is the product itself, the game, you know. I think apart from that, as a lot of already discussed, if the game is not good, so how are we gonna, attract the players? And of course, also it's very important the team behind. Are they capable of developing the game themselves, or they're outsourcing developers? Also, the whole go-to-market strategy. How you're gonna access to that audience, how you're gonna attract those users. And I think the issue is that the complexity of Web3, and that's why it's kind of hard to get those attract those real players. And I think some other indicators could be like the utility, of course, of the token and mechanics, scalability of the game itself, and also like as I mentioned, like it's so important to understand whether the team is capable of meeting the roadmap. So how strong is the team behind this project?
Yeah, absolutely. A strong team makes a strong game, typically. Sergio from Polygon, let us know what you think.
Yeah, I strongly agree that gameplay must be at the epicenter because at the end is the product. Also, team is very important. The backgrounds of the team. Are they designing a game or they just want to raise money? This is an easy question, but we must to solve it always, right? So, and also I will refer to other 3 points. I will talk about the community engagement strategy. Also, to see that the game developers are that they are not over promising and not under delivering. So at the end, the gamer can perceive the value that was promised at the very first moment of the creation of the project. Also, we can talk about partnerships and integrations, which are like the different brands that are working with the project, the blockchain, the wallet provider, the oracles, the different gaming platforms that are working with them for distribution, marketplaces, all these kind of integrations are important. And finally, I will say to evaluate if the game is doing something different from a Web2 perspective, because this is a common question right now. What's the value added of Web3 in the project? This is a question that at the end the user can ask themselves, because, for example, if we play a shooter game, we can find a lot of shooter games in the Web2 space, but what is the shooter game adding to me in Web3? This is an important question. And what we have seen in the last years is that the integrations of Web3 and blockchain in gaming were simplified just to NFTs or to assets, but the logic on chain was not put over there, was still on Web2. So I think that this logic on chain, more games with logic on chain will be seen in the upcoming years. And this is good because at the end you are taking advantage of the technology. So yeah, I would say that all of these aspects should be taken into account by the gamer, but at the end the focus should be the gameplay, because the core of gaming is to make people to have fun.
Absolutely. Gameplay is king when it comes to mass adoption. Sharon, GPT, what do you think about the key indicators are for Web3 gamers to look for to indicate a project has a legitimate chance of success?
So I think it's a great question, by the way, because in general, a lot of founders without an experience, they don't know how to measure success, and especially if you want to raise money. So every industry has its own, specific KPIs. But if you go again to the fundamentals, it's and because it's a long-term game to build a game, it will take a few years, I will say, to build something meaningful. So I will say everything that regarding to acquisition, because this is the biggest struggle, like cost of acquisition and retention. How do you like make sure and evaluate the health of your users? Are they coming back? Are they bringing more users? And if they spend money, it's wallet spend or whatever you call it, right? So that you can even say go deeper and say how much time they play the game. So frequency and recency is probably very important. So everything regarding your user behavior, your player behavior, is critical to evaluate. Do you have a market fit? And of course, you have different people, different reasoning or motivation playing a game. So trying to see from all the data, do you have a segment of users really care about it, talk about it, stream it or whatever? I don't know which tool or channels people are using, founders, but the user behavior is the most critical, and the acquisition cost. And then you have, if you do airdrops and whatever tactics you have, this is, you can call it like the retention cost. How much money does it cost to retain members? So we will keep playing the game. I think this is the fundamentals for every industry, but especially in gaming, regardless of Web3. Sometimes Web3 or crypto can be just the infrastructure. You don't need to focus on the Web3. You need to focus on the user. And if you start focusing on the user, start asking the right questions. So this is my kind of take on KPIs and measurement.
Yeah, absolutely. Retention is key to keeping those players in there. You need them there. Otherwise, if they
Retention
just
is king, I will say.
it is
King.
it absolutely is.
Really?
Yeah. Churn is the enemy of all good games. Mr. Blank, what do you have to say? What do you think are the key indicators for Web3 gamers to look for a legitimate chance of mass adoption of a game?
Yeah, great question. I think look, we all realize that Web3 gaming is inevitable. One of the most common themes when looking at most of these games launching nowadays is you're seeing the same pitch over and over, right? It's all about true ownership, empowering creators, easy onboarding. But I think a lot of these games are missing one of the most important factors here, which is the fun factor, which matters the most to most of these gamers, these traditional Web2 gamers. So sustainability in the long run is something we definitely see as an issue. I think just given the volatility of this industry, another common theme is seeing teams that just aren't in it for the long run, right? I mean, you have a lot of games that, they're running well for a year and a half, 2 years, but when times get tough, things do tend to slow down, or, they give up or lose hope. And I think that's a huge turnoff for a lot of the Web2 investors and Web2 gamers that are trying to transition, or at least the GameFi space is trying to bring into Web3. So I think for me personally, it's all about the team, making sure that the product they're building is actually something that the public wants rather than just another cash grab. So a bit of I think it's a very strict kind of ideology, but it's just something personal.
Yeah, absolutely. It's that longevity that really helps because even a good game at launch can fall out of favor pretty quickly if you don't keep building on it. Yellow Panther, tell us what you think. Uh-oh, did Yellow Panther get rugged? Okay, Manu, tell us what you think.
This is from the perspective of the gamer.
This is what Web3 gamers should look for to indicate a project has a legitimate chance of mass adoption or success.
Well, from the gamer, like the player, there are two. You have to realize if the game is already there or not. If the game has not launched, then probably you are more speculating. So it's not about the game; it's how the shillers there. And if the game is out and you can try it, then it's a completely different picture because you can play it. Then you should go into the game. I mean, I worked with Supercell for 5 years. Like the first thing they're trying to give you as a gamer is like short-term satisfaction. So that way you wanna come in and play again. So if the game has that, you are almost sure that at least twice he's going to join the game. And then if these incentives that it's not monetary, I mean in-game satisfaction, like opening a box or getting something special, if this continue, then once you play for the third day, for the fourth day, because you want to, then you have a really engaging game. So that way, you know it's going to be a success. I mean, that's how it usually worked for Supercell, and it was really good. So then it depends. If you are just looking at a deck, you are trying to speculate, that is about chillers. But if you actually are talking about the game, then you have to try the game.
Yeah, it's always good to try the game. Another thing to look for, this is just injecting my own personal opinion here, is for people who are building a large intellectual property and who are looking for the long-term positive outcome of that, because those people are super invested and they want to make everything a success that is attached to that license. All right, 1,000 points to everybody again. Question number 5. What are the most important things a game can do to stand out in this bull market? Adele, let us know what you think.
To be honest, I think that game has to have a very good niche that's well thought. Uh, Therefore, you could onboard a specific start with specific type of players. Second of all, I think that the game has to be actually good enough to compete with what's in the market and to compete with maybe even Web2 games. So it has to have good idea, good gameplay, good game loop, and some kind of a niche. And another thing I think is that since player onboarding is a very, very big problem, I think that you need a very good player onboarding mechanism as well, because in Gamify it's very overly complicated in a lot of ways. Like you have to have specific NFTs, you have to have specific tokens, etc. It's complicated. I think we have not found a very good way to do that by while keeping all these crypto assets as well.
Yeah, absolutely. Mr. Blank, what do you think? What are the most important things a game can do to stand out in this bull market? Mr. Blank, you there? Okay, Manu, back to you. Okay, Manu? Uh, I cannot hear Mr. Blank. I cannot hear anyone. Is it me? Oh crap! Am I being rugged again?
No,
Wait.
I can hear you, David. I can hear you.
Oh,
I can
okay.
hear you as well.
Okay, good. All right, let's go to Sergio.
Sure. Good question. So, from my perspective, I think that the game developers should have like a long-term strategy, not only to focus on this bull market, but if you want to get advantage of this period, I will say that, for example, the partnerships that you establish are key, because you can get advantage of other projects that are performing well, not only in token. I mean, it's beyond financials, that they are doing well in terms of community engagement, in terms of gameplay, in terms of metrics, and to go together with them, with with interoperability. Thanks to blockchain, we can have this advantage. So I think that taking this into account is a great idea, and yeah, and obviously, I mean, as I said, the key is to have like a long-term strategy. If the game is good enough, you will have this traction with community engagement, and what I said before, also not over promise and not under delivery. These are my takes.
Yeah, well put. Vito Dorito, how do you stand out in the bull market?
Yeah, so I think the games that are gonna succeed are the games that are actually unique, that stand out, and that don't just say, "Hey, we're the Web3 version of blah blah blah." You know, so basically games that are like that stand on their own, that are actually creating their own genre, and that where Web2 gamers, when they want to play this game, they have to move actually to Web3 to play it, and as well entry barriers. So when the entry barrier is low, so actually Web2 users or new Web3 users, they can join very easily and play the game. And as well, like Sergio was saying, long-term vision, but also when you like go closer, a medium-term vision, a short-term vision, and a micro vision. So you have everything planned, but not planned out too well, basically. And I think in general, like I think Cassandra said it. Cassandra, am I right? I don't know. Gameplay is king. Gameplay will always be king. But right now, sadly, we're still in like Web3 GameFi is still very early, so still the in-game economics matter a lot. But I think like this is a little bit far in the future. But somewhere in the future, the Web3 games will solely be played. So to play the game, and this is where I think we were heading, and I think it's inevitable.
It is inevitable. How do you stand out in the bull market, Anthony?
Well, I'd say that the matter of success, if we're talking about the early stage projects, is just about the team. We can discuss, I'd say, for ages, how to make an interesting game, how to actually make a really great tokenomics. But instead of just, I'd say, going over and over it again, it's always really good to make the A/B test, right? So whenever you test one version of the game, then you modify it, you modify it, and you modify it. And obviously, the matter of success is just the matter of how well your team can actually hold the pressure, how flexible your team is in order to change some of the subjects of the game, depending on your community and your community needs and wants. Because some of the users, they won't be able to play because your game is not optimized. Some of the users will have some, critical problems, and it's just a matter of your development team, how quickly you can actually fix those, and obviously how quickly you can keep up with the trends. Because if your development team takes ages in order to make a new updates, then you won't be able to actually follow the actual, even the holiday schedule to make the simple, Halloween, I'd say, scene within your game. So yeah, that's my point. The team is the key
Yeah,
in this stage.
very good point. Never cheap out on the chief of technology. Otherwise, you'll regret it later.
That's the one.
Mr. Blank, what do you have to say?
Yeah, can you guys hear me now?
Absolutely. Go ahead. How do you stand
Awesome.
out in the bull market?
Awesome. Yeah, I think a lot of great points already said. I think sustainability is probably one of the most important ones. A lot of these games just aren't built for the long run, especially when looking at tokenomic side of things. Whether they have single or deal token economies, it's just not built out very well for the long run. Um, Aside from that, I think development is also an extremely important one. So what I've noticed, I'm not going to name and shame, but there are a number of games out there that they actually blow up on social media. They become quite huge in terms of user base and just attracting the market. But then when it comes to development and actually improving the game and taking community or user base feedback into account, it's probably not one of their strong suits, right? Which is a huge turnoff again for gamers because if you're joining a new game, all you really want is to have a great experience. So if there's some feedback that's being provided, I think that's definitely an area that gaming companies need to focus on a little more.
Absolutely. Sharon, what's your take on the situation? How do you stand out in the bull market? Sharon rugged? Damn it.
No, I'm
All
here.
right.
It's super slow. Can you hear me?
I can hear you now. Yes.
Yeah.
Please
So
go
can you
ahead.
please repeat the question?
How do you stand out in the bull market?
Oh, wow. That's a tough one. I think because the bull market, there is a lot of incentive, like monetary incentive to do things. So there are two factors. Like, and unfortunately, this is the truth. How much you incentivize your community, which is not sometimes not sustainable, to be honest. The second part is partnerships. So building a community and incentivize them through whatever airdrops or campaigns or whatever you have. That's the first thing. And second is partnership with different companies, blockchain companies, or other games or communities, value exchange. Because when there is bull market, there is a lot of kind of money. Everybody trying to get, ahead of the game in general. So that's, I will say, the two. Maybe the third point is to invest money. This is the best time to get funding. to prepare for the next, for the next round. So this is the three things: partnerships, community building, and funding.
Yeah, community building, I think, is a super key one. Saul, what's your take on the situation? How do you stand out in this bull market?
Being last is a bit hard. There were tons of great takes and great ideas. I think that the key thing is just staying true to the vision that you've set. Less maybe chasing of the latest trends or trendy blockchain features to incorporate into your game or into its communication, like being airdrops, AI or UGC or whatnot. That wasn't really your plan, and now you are just trying to somehow add it as you go. I mean, that might bring some social engagement, but probably not the actual users if there's lack of substance for it, right? So what I think should be done is what we at Engines of Fury we're trying to do all the time is really staying focused, involving community to show the progress constantly, so that the promises that games make, and games make a lot of promises throughout the years because just it takes so much time to do that. So that those promises could be seen being done in action. I know we've been here for 2.5 years now, so we've been sharing our office life and hard work of people putting in the game on TikTok, also having a Discord channels for sharing sneak peeks, doing some closed demos, collecting feedback, taking the data and advice from it, and basically making the game better with each and every iteration. So at the end of the day, the most important thing for us at Engines of Fury is that we're really doubling down on the vision for how we want our end product to look, not cutting corners on how the game looks, how it feels, how it plays, and making sure that there's the right product market fit, and just making sure that your players are happy and excited consistently. So I think that's my take on it.
Yeah, absolutely. All right, we're going to cut here. Thank you, my wonderful guests, for all of your answers. I hope the upcoming crop of Web3 gamers learned a thing or two about what to watch out for in the coming bull market. Avoid the pitfalls of poorly run projects and embrace those who are focused on rewarding the player experience. For all those excited about Engines of Fury, remember that the listing date for the Fury token is May the 15th at 11 a.m. UTC. Do not miss out on this opportunity to get this deflationary currency as early as you can. Thank you, wonderful listeners, for coming to the show. If I don't see you later, good afternoon, good evening, and good night.
Thank you so much.
Cheers, guys.
Thank
Thanks,
you.
guys.
Cheers.
See you,
Bye.
boys. Have a good one.
Bye.